16 years in anything, then you would be considered a master in this day and time. So what we would like to do first, Ms. Xave, is you introduce yourself to the people, because I have a different perspective on what they will receive right now on this video. So if you go ahead and talk about how did you get into mixing the herbs, your sisters who are part of it too, because I know you also have Miss Usha, she does it, and is that the only one?
No, it's also my sister Y.
Is that the one with the short hair? You got one?
Can say.
Because she got a profile pic where her hair.
Oh, that's my sister Kelly, the one with the short hair. Yes, that's my sister Kelly.
She made a mean face at me one time. I had like 20 products of Dr. Sebi, and I was like, look, if y'all call the office and they say they ran out, it's because of me. And she put, I said, I'm sorry, Miss Kelly. So if you could go ahead and touch on that, how you got into it, you know, who you are, because, you know, most people don't know that you're the actual daughter of Dr. Sebi. So the floor is open to you.
Okay, well, I mean, there's only so much I can say. This has always been, you know, a family business, and how I got started was, you know, with my mother and father traveling so much, and of course they needed someone to hold down the fort. So I started producing the compounds and doing consultations, and you know, that's kind of how I got started. I was about 17 when I started doing it on my own without the assistance of, you know, my mother and father.
How young were you when you started with your dad actually making? I
mean, if you ask any one of the family members, it's really since we were born. I mean, this is a family thing. We've done it since, you know, since as long as we could remember. Okay,
because I remember watching one video. It was when he was talking about black leaders, and he actually brought you up. Come here, Xave. I think he was like 9 years old, and he said, "Oh, she's been making these herbs." And he also talked about a lady in Japan who you cured. It was either you.
It could have been the lady in Japan. That could have been my sister Kelly. I mean, my sister Usha. Sorry about that. My sister Usha. Because the first young lady that I worked with that had AIDS, I think I was already 17 by then. So that was some years later.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
17 years.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so as far as your experience with the herbs, I see a lot of people who be asking out, you know, come to my inbox, does this really work? And I don't blame them for thinking it's a scam, because I see so much stuff out there that's going on.
Of course.
So how could the people more protect themselves against, like, how do they know who to go to? You know, because there's so many people doing this and doing that, and they're selling wholesale herbs. And once upon a time, me and my wife actually bought some from a guy, and we made a tea out of it. Okay. And we gave the water pH, and it was acid. So we went outside and got the yellow dye, because it grows right there in our yard across.
Right.
We got it up, made a tea out of it, and it was alkaline. So how could the people protect themselves and know who to go to and who to trust when it comes to healing?
Well, it's not about who to trust. I think one of the most beautiful things is, let's start off with the fact that this is something that we're all now learning about, and things that we want to do. And a lot of us, you know, a lot of people now are just getting into it, so they're excited about it, and they're just like, okay, you know, these are herbs. I'm just gonna, Dr. Sebi said we can, you know, use these herbs, so I'm just gonna have burdock and chaparral. But the thing is that, you know, one of the many crafts that even my sister and I have learned along the way is, you know, where you got your herbs from. If it's wild crafted, the season, the region, all of that. So it's, you know, a lot of detail that really goes into it. It's not just saying, okay, this is an herb, I'm gonna purchase it. You still want to get, you know, as much detail as possible. And I try to tell people, you know, educate yourself. Don't just follow someone. And you know, it's kind of hard for me to say, you know, who to trust. That's kind of difficult. I always encourage people to, you know, do your own research. And you know, if you have to have a consultation with every herbalist that you know of, then do that. And you know, kind of lean towards whoever you feel more comfortable with, because I say this all the time, it's your journey. This is your journey, and you always want to be as comfortable as possible.
Okay, all right, that's perfect. I gave, to add to what you just said, I gave people a barometer of how they could tell just by giving it a pH test. Goes back to what your father said. So only reason because you touched on the point that it's not more about who to trust, it's more about them knowing the information, right? So, because I touch on that with everybody, know the information.
Exactly.
That's how you'll know who you're dealing with and what you're dealing with.
Exactly.
Right there. Okay, so we can go to your questions, babe, and I'll chime in after about 3 of them.
I don't think I want you to chime in on any of my questions.
Well, you go ahead. Look, no, I'm saying I'll come with my 3 after you.
Was that 3? Was that 3?
Yeah. So go ahead, do your
Well, I
thing.
think you pretty much answered when you asked.
Not all of your questions.
No, not all.
Okay.
No. So, Xave, in the short time that we've known each other,
Okay.
I see and I know that you're a very caring, sincere, and just overall you're a loving person.
Thank you.
Very sweet, very humble. Were you reluctant to take this interview?
At first, only because I don't like being in front of the camera, but because I know what you guys have been trying to do with the community and spread the word, and you guys, really want to help so many people. I said, I gotta put that to the side and, just come out of my shell. If it's gonna help somebody, then
we're so glad that you're doing this. I had to ask that question because she was so intense, like, yeah, let's try. I'm like, come on, July.
Okay. Well, you definitely got me here. And I think one of the reasons definitely even wanting to go further with you guys is Miss Angela.
Yeah.
You guys really came through and helped, and I want to see that more and more.
Yeah.
So anyone that's doing it, I'm always down to support.
Let me do something cool, because you brought up a point. The reason why we definitely started, we knew it was a good opportunity to reach out to you, because who is speaking for women?
For women.
Only reason I asked that question is a male, because I happen to hear her say, babe, I'm tired of watching all these men tell me about my body.
Okay.
So all I can do is like, you right, babe, we need to find somebody.
Constantly. They're like, they're the black man, they advocate that the black woman is God and listen to her, she's the mother and the nurturer, and then when it comes down to actually listening to his goddess, it's like, well, honey, I'm going through this. Yeah, I get it. Well, go to the corner.
Right.
No. It doesn't work that way. That's why I really was pushing to do this interview.
Oh, wow.
More so than anything.
Well, I'm definitely honored.
You're honored. It's a privilege, to be honest with you, to
It definitely
be
is. It
sitting here.
definitely is.
Dive in?
Yeah.
All right, so, okay, I guess you already gave us like a general overview of yourself. You pretty much told us how long you've been working with this. What made you choose this path? Like, what actually gave you the to say, this is what I want to do. This is what I see myself doing.
Well, I have to be honest. When I was around, I want to say 10, 11, 12, I had to, of course, work with the business. It's a family company. You're working in the back and, bottling, labeling, and doing all that kind of stuff. And, my older sisters, they were kind of rough on me with it. Like, no, we have to be in the office on Saturday morning. No, you can't go bike riding. This is something we have to do. And, during that period, you're still really young. It was just like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Please, I just want to go home. But, after working with individuals and really seeing that difference, it was like, I don't think I could ever do anything else. Like I said, the first young lady that I worked with, I was 17. I was the first person that I worked with by myself, and I helped to cure her of AIDS. And I was just like, I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. So I think that was one of the first few things that kind of stuck, and I was like, no, this is it. This is definitely it.
Okay, so with that being said, Aaron mentioned that we've watched tons of interviews, if not all the interviews or lectures, workshops, etc. that's available online. And your father, he's brought you up tons of times. You already spoke at what age? Could you tell exactly what age you started to mix these compounds?
That I started to mix the compounds, I would say about 15 or 16, when I was doing it with my mom, more and more, and then by 17 it was over. They were traveling and I had to do it.
Wow.
But like I said, years, you know, helping my sister in the kitchen. It wasn't like a big thing or something that I talked about or thought about because it was just a family business. You know, I hear my father talk about, you know, curing diseases.
Yeah.
You don't think about it. You grow up in that environment.
No,
Like, you know, he comes home and he's talking about somebody was cured of this or, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's just, it was so normal.
Yeah.
So helping my sister bottle and helping her, you know, put stuff on the shelf and all that kind of stuff came at a very early age. I was like 10 or 11.
Wow.
So, you know, it was just a family thing.
That's beautiful. And that's how I want to bring my family up. Just with the
At least have some type of family venue, structure.
Right. Participation.
Right.
Like where
That's
everybody
true, too.
can
That's
dive
true,
in
too.
and be a part of it. That's really kind of what gets me motivated to know that this is exactly where I want to be. So other than the bottling and mixing the compounds, when did you start like dietwise taking herbs? Like at what age do you remember taking herbs?
That I had to do from since birth.
Sea moss.
That was sea moss
I've
always.
heard.
There was sea moss in soup. There was sea moss sprinkled over salad. And you know, desserts, which was just sea moss pudding with sea moss gel with, let's say, mango or strawberry in it. There was sea moss in